I love the One Piece trading card game, and I love to spend money on this game efficiently. Buying singles for your deck has always been the most cost-effective way of building a deck, but in this challenge, we throw that all away. Each week, I use a budget of $30 to open sealed product in the hopes of adding new cards to our deck. But since we can only play cards in our color, any cards we can't use, we can trade away. And there are additional buffs locked behind certain challenges. Join me in my journey as I rise up to become the King of the Pirates. You're watching One Piece from Scratch. Welcome back, Pirates, to a very special episode of One Piece from Scratch. As mentioned in every outro, new bounties come out every 5 episodes, and it has been 5 episodes since the last wave. There's a lot to go over, so let's hop right into it. To start, we have 4 new quest bounties. First, based off of this comment, we have beat one of each of the emperors for an extra $15 to our budget. If a leader has the name of any of the 4 new emperors, it'll also count towards this bounty, so we're kinda future-proofing for the OP15 buggy tier 0 meta. Next, based off of this comment, we have the bounty to deal the final blow with a character with 2000 base power or less for the Card War sleeves that were featured in the pre-release episode. I've been thinking that we needed a visual upgrade, so hopefully I can knock this one out soon. Next, based off of this comment, we have the quest to obtain a winner pre-release card for an alt art upgrade. We can complete this by winning it or winning it from a raffle, but we cannot complete this by trading for one. And finally, for the quest bounties based off of this comment, we have the bounty to win 5 games in a row for a Choice SR card. This bounty can span multiple episodes, so if we end an episode with a 2-win streak and then pick up the last 3 games in the next episode, that would also complete this challenge. In addition to the quest bounties, we also have some new cipher bounties to be solved. Hopefully these ones are a little bit harder than the last set since they were all solved within 2 episodes. Each of these will reward an alt art upgrade, so if you think you can solve what the poster says based off the provided text as well as context in the episode, then leave a comment with the exact wording in the comment section. And if you get it right, you'll be shouted out in the next episode. And finally, there are some revisions to some older bounties. I think that we were a little bit too ambitious with some of these first challenges, so they didn't really align with the goals I wanted to set with each kind of bounty. So first one is to win games with no black cards in the main deck. That has dropped from 10 games down to 3. The quest bounty to win 10 games with the ST14 Luffy has been changed to 4 wins, and to also include the OP09 Luffy. The quest to win with ST06 Black Sakazuki has been changed to 7 wins to 3 wins. That one was a huge misstep, we'll just say that. And finally, the Poneglyph bounty to reach 5,000 subscribers has been changed to 1,000. I think these changes better reflect the pace of the series, as well as make some challenges that would make us deviate from our main deck a little bit more feasible to hit without halting the progress to the main deck too much. I hope you're excited for these new bounties as well as the changes to the old bounties as I am, and with that being said, don't forget to leave your bounty ideas in the comment section of any video for a chance to have your idea a part of the series. And with that, let's finally move on to the opening. Alright gamers, with $3 rolling over from last week's episode, we're not opening 6 packs of OP09, but we are opening 7 packs. So that is a $33 budget with removing $31.50. That leaves us with a rolling budget of $1.50. So yeah, let's just get right into it. We have a lot of cool things that we can try and open. Again, I am opening this a little bit early so I can try and trade off stuff, and as well as trying to get the cards into the community's hand. I know that sounds like super self-righteous, but you know, I think a lot of the enjoyment of being a part of a trading card game community is just helping other players out. So it's a win-win in my books, which I do not mind. We have Trafalgar Law, as well as the 10-cost Shanks, and I know we did just pull the Shanks leader in the last episode, and now we can add the 10-cost Shanks to our red arsenal. That's pretty cool. If we do ever build out that Shanks, that's going to be super cool. Otherwise, we could probably just trade it off. Anyways, on to pack number 2 of 7. That is one of the perks of actually tracking our budget now. Previously, it was just going to be 6 packs regardless, but you know, since that would leave $3 left of the budget, look, I was like, you know what? Okay, we got the Blackbeard leader. I was talking about this in the last episode, but since Blackbeard is pretty self-contained, we could maybe try and mess around with Marshall D. Teach. If we do, that would be pretty cool. If I should make that into a bounty, let me know in the comments, and also suggest a appropriate reward that would go with that. Anyways, we've got the Roronoa Zoro as well as a Sabo. Despite opening this early, I will count prices as whenever I end up editing it. I usually end up editing videos the week before I post them, so it's not like I'm going to be cheating on that front. But anyways, we've got Usopp, Richie, Sachi Penguin, Pizarro, Robin, never underestimate the power of miracles, Jinbei, Kabaji, Katarina Devon, Nico Robin. Okay, so now we've got 4 of the 6 leaders. This one is Banish. When attacking, may trash 1 card with trigger from your hand, add 1 Don card from your Don deck, set it as rested. So pretty cool that we just have Banish on a leader. We have Doc Q and Gum Gum Quarto Jet. Let's try that again. Gum Gum Quarto Jet Cross Shock Bazooka. Very interesting naming. I've never played Odyssey, so yeah. These like super long names are just kind of funny for me to read. Yeah, let's go on to pack number, what is this, 4? Lindbergh, Gecko Moria, Fulla Lead, Brook, Monkey D. Luffy, Peachbeard, Bello Betty, Thunderland's Flip Caliber Phoenix Shots. That one I got on the first try. Stronger, Buggy. Okay, so we are 5 out of the 6 leaders. We just need that Limb, and I think Limb might be something we might be able to use on the off-meta episodes. We're gonna have to wait and see how we actually rule those. We have Kuzan, and we have the 1-drop Nami. All right, where are our alternate arts and secret rares, man? That might be like a super stacked last half of the box. All right, we've got Marco, Alvo Pizarro, Howling Gab, Thousand Sunny, Soul Frankie Swing Arm Boxing Solid, Bonk Punch, Nico Robin, Hongo, Crocodile, Ice Block Partisan, Nico Robin, and Come On, We'll Fight With You. Very light on the SRs and alternate arts on today's opening. Would have liked to have seen those earlier, but we'll see. Now we've got Morley, Empty Bluffs Island, Heat, Tony Chopper, Monkey D. Luffy, Nobody Hurts a Friend of Mine, Kazuki Odin, Jinbei, Trafalgar Law, Murder at the Steam Bath, 10 cost Buggy. This is kind of a funny card. On play, place up to one of your opponent's characters at the bottom of the owner's deck. Then if you do not have 5 characters with a cost of 5 or more, place this character at the bottom of the owner's deck. So kind of a funny card, but yeah. And we have the 5-drop blocker Doflamingo. This is our last chance to get something good for this episode. Otherwise, it's just going to be the Shanks, and that is it. I actually don't know how much that Shanks is right now, so maybe we're kind of just sleeping on a gold mine here, but ooh, nice, we do have a leader. Let's hope that is the last leader that we need. Das Bones, Lindbergh, Charlotte Pudding, Sachi Penguin, Nico Robin, Soul Frankie Swing Arm Boxing Solid, Marshall D. Teach, Nami, Black Hole, Shanks leader. Okay, it was not the Limb that we needed, but that's fine. Gum Gum Giant and Jesus Burgess. All right, kind of an underwhelming episode. Again, I don't think we're really going to be using too much from this. If we do, it's going to be using it as trade bait to trade into other stuff that we need, especially like alt arts to make it further into our Poneglyph bounty.
Recorded in chunks.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Love that. So you would want to.
I said I played these games before!
Alright, coming into round 1, we are versus Blue Doflamingo, and we have seen this deck many times on this channel already. A really nice thing about Doflamingo is they really want to be seeing Sengoku or Perona on their earlier turn, so that means we'll always have a target to be able to attach our 1 Don to our leader, and then use our leader effect to target their 1 cost, make it 0, so we can always have that extra 1k on our turn. That's why it's really important for Doflamingo players, especially into Smoker, to be able to use their Law effect, to be able to bounce their Sengoku, not only to have it so you can use it again, but you don't have a body on the field that's a 1 cost that I can use to use leader effect on and then gain an extra 1k. So we did see the Moria come out of hand as counter, and for any aspiring Dofi players, try not to do that since you want to be using your Moria effect to be pulling a lot of your warlords out of your trash and put them back into your hand, especially with your Jinbeis, your Boas, and especially to have stuff to play off of your Jinbei since Jinbei plays out of hand. And on my turn, I am going to use my leader effect on the Sengoku to be able to put it at 0 cost, not only turning on my leader effect, but also my Smoker character effect so that he can do double attack. So he is going to take 2 life here, and that is going to feel really good for me since I'm advancing that tempo a little bit. And playing Rebecca here does give my opponent a whole lot of Raging Blade, Tiger, Gravity Raging Blade, whatever value, and we do see it come down here, so we do get our Smoker as well as our blocker bottom deck, but it does feel good that we at least got our double attack off, so now he's only at 1 life. We are staring down a few swingable bodies on the side of Doflamingo, but considering that we are 3 life to only 1 life on Doflamingo's side, I'm feeling like if I could at least establish a little bit of a board and then start swinging my leader into some of his characters, we can gain a lot of tempo there and then slowly start to be in a good position to be able to clear out the game. And we do see the Jack come down from my side, and I'm going to feel really good about this because if he doesn't establish a blocker, I'm basically saying to my opponent, hey, I've got a leader swing and I've got a huge swing coming after us, so you better protect your life or else I'm going to win them right there. And we do see the Boa blocker come down, so he is going to prevent us from going for game, unless if I go for that Sengoku swing, but honestly there's no way I'm going to be doing that right now, especially because I think I've got a little bit of a game plan in my hand, so I can still go through another round, another turn, and then hopefully go for game the next turn. So sticking with the game plan, I'm going to swing into his bodies, either going to be demanding counter or to be demanding his board, and then I am going to play this Moria. So now I think that Moria is going to put me in a really good position as another big body is going to come down, start to clear some of his board, and then again, if he doesn't establish a blocker or maybe even 2 blockers, then I've got a really good shot at going for game. But we do see that he's going to be bottom decking my Moria, and to me that means that he's not going to be playing a blocker, and then I am just going to go for game as soon as it comes back to me. I'm going to use my leader effect to give 1k to my leader just as a little bit extra firepower. Going to swing in, hopefully that goes through, and if it's going through, I'm going to feel really good, attach the rest of my Don to Jack, and swing in for game. GG. Coming into game 2, we are versus Wafflehouse, and he is playing the blue Doflamingo, and as you could probably tell from the timestamps, this is the shortest game of the episode and probably the shortest game of the whole series so far. We just weren't seeing stuff. As you see, we're going to be using our Dawn, just attach it all to the leader and start swinging. We're going to do that for a few turns, a little bit of a spoiler, but this is just not a really good game for us. We were really low rolling, and as you can see, our opponent was really high rolling. We did see that play that I was talking about earlier where he's going to use that law effect. The cost is going to be targeting one of the Sengoku's bounce to hand, and then he's going to use the actual effect to target these other Sengoku, bounce it back to hand. So now, coming back to my turn, I have nothing to target with my leader effect to give -1 to get to a 0 cost, thus giving me another 1k power. And already on Doflamingo's 6th Dawn turn, we're already staring 5k power or higher characters while we have a board of absolutely nothing, so we are doing abysmally bad on tempo right now. I basically saw none of my mid game, and I had a whole lot of 2ks or top end in my hand, so I was just really stuck with it until the later Dawn turns. But as we can see, the Doflamingo is picking up so much steam that it's going to be really hard to come back from. Considering Doflamingo's board presence right now compared to my non-existent board presence, honestly, I think his turns are better spent just attaching all of his Dawn to his characters and just start swinging, which is exactly what we see here.
Pudding! You are toxic! Oh my god!
Yeah, so there goes my only body that I had on the field. Not that I even needed him for, like, using him to cost reduce because I had cost base removal in my hand, but I would have still liked him to be able to swing into his board, hopefully get some steam back onto my side. And really right now we're just going to be praying that Moria does something for us.
Pudding, yeah! Look at this, dude. You're actually going to put me back to a 5-card hand, basically.
What the fuck? Dude, what?
Yeah, so in terms of raw cards in hand, he definitely got a whole lot of value out of that pudding, but honestly, I might be picking up some value from this pudding as well, since there was just a whole lot of nothing in my hand, but unfortunately I drew into a whole lot of non-counter, so he's just going to swing, and that is GG.
That was the biggest high roll versus the biggest low roll I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
Round 3, and we're versus Red Shanks. This is another matchup where I don't have a whole lot of experience yet into. I think this is the second time in the series that we face this leader, so we're really just going to be looking for some favorable interactions that we have into our opponent's deck, as well as, you know what, if we get bodied, then hey, if we learn something from getting bodied, then all the better. We just got to keep grinding, keep improving for that regional, but more on that maybe in the next episode. What's really throwing me off about this game is that our opponent is really not trying to play anything in the mid-game, and that's really throwing me off because I have a whole lot of good mid-game cards like the Shigis in my hand, so not being able to use them to be able to remove some of his bodies and keep pace that way is going to be really weird in terms of trying to keep pace. So it's like I'm holding a whole lot of cards in hand and I'm just swinging into his life, and I'm not really sure that's really the move. But considering he does have 2 Utas on the field, I could always just attach 1 Don to my leader, target one of his Utas, and then I have a 7k swing at the ready. And I think I did make a misplay, a very, very slight misplay there. I was getting really annoyed by the Utas being swung into me, so I did put 1 Don onto my Sengoku and swing into one of them. And honestly, I think that was better used on my Kuzan to be able to swing in for 6, because the leader effect's going to reduce it down to 5, so we're at least demanding a card out of hand for that swing. And I'm starting to really figure out why Rayleigh is like a 30, 40, even at its peak like $50 card, because that card is like actually crazy. Not only does it KO, but it also has some lingering power reduction, and so when we're talking about I'm going to be playing some big bodies, and turn after turn I'm going to be playing Moria, Jack, whatever, just the fact that my bodies are going to be a lot less threatening just because he's going to be using his Silver's Rayleigh effect, and it's going to linger onto my turn, that is just like super crazy. I'm feeling really threatened by the Shanks, and I don't have a whole lot in my graveyard right now for a really good Moria play, so I am just going to attach all my Dawn to my leader and swing into that Shanks. I'm honestly not sure if that was even the correct play, but we do see 3 cards out of hand, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. As long as I have a game plan for that Shanks later down the line, I think I do have a decent shot of it, but we do see 2 blockers come down, so that means I am definitely not going to be swinging into that, because that is just going to be eaten by the 2 blockers. I do down up my Tashigi here, not realizing that Lucky Roo's effect is 6k or less base power. I thought it was just 6k power or less, so when I attached Dawn to my Tashigi, I was expecting it to be 7 and thus dodging it, but unfortunately that's not how it works. It's not like Jet Pistol where it's just whatever power it's at currently. So unfortunately my Tashigi did have to be going down in order to get one of his blockers down. And here we see another Silver's Rayleigh, and that's going to get so much value, being able to make my Moria a whole lot less threatening, and also getting that Rebecca off the field. I am losing a whole lot of tempo. We did go down to 0 life, so a Roger would be able to clear next turn. So really, I'm trying to find some other ways to at least count on not having Roger in hand from our opponent, and then trying to deal with our opponent's board, and then trying to establish some blockers at the same time. But unfortunately, I don't really have a whole lot going on in hand, so I just double Ice Age, and then I am going to remove that Shank, so at least we have a little bit of power back in our characters. Overall, just a very oddly, very rough game for me, especially since our opponent didn't play a whole lot of their mid-game a lot. So that means we couldn't play our mid-game strategy to be able to remove some of their stuff, and then they just picked up a whole lot of steam in the end. But anyways, Frank, GG. Coming into round 4, we are versus Green Yellow Yamato, and I remember when I first read this leader, I thought this thing was the craziest thing ever. And I think a lot of people first reading that card were like, holy crap, this leader not only has double attack, but also a really crazy effect. That is super nuts. But anyways, coming back to the game, we do see that the leader, or not the leader effect, the brand new effect did discard 2 Morias, which super sucks, super hurts. Knowing that we only have 2 more Morias in the deck, and that we still have a super thick deck, we haven't seen a whole lot of cards yet, and the most reliable way to draw into them is Sengoku, I'm not really feeling too good that we're going to be seeing some Morias into the late game, so we're going to really have to pick up in the mid game here, since we're not going to be spamming huge body threats later on. And I am going to use my leader effect on that Momonosuke before I knock it out with my brand new, just so I can get an extra 1k on our leader. And we are going to swing that in, he is going to take it, so we are doing some pretty decent work into his life, and then we are going to play the brand new into the Hina. I play the Hina here just so I can have another body. Again, we want to be stronger in the mid game, since I don't think I'm going to be as strong in the late game. And unfortunately for me, since I did take that swing early on from the leader effect, I did drop down to 3 life, so our opponent's leader effect is going to be active pretty much the whole game, so he's going to have an extra 2 Dawn pretty much at all times, so feels a little bit bad, but I didn't think I really needed to counter onto that first hit. I was completely fine taking a double hit pretty early into the game. I don't think that it would have justified dropping that many resources from hand, especially as we mentioned we want to be stronger in the mid game because we did see a lot of our end game pieces go pretty early. Now it sounds like I'm putting a whole lot of stock into losing a whole lot of Morias, but I think just in general being able to be really strong with our Tashigis especially is going to be paying dividends for us later. I don't know why, but I always forget that green has access to Hody Jones, which is honestly like one of the craziest cards ever, but he does make a misplay on his previous turn where he did trying to swing into the Isho instead of trying to clear some other threats on our board. Trying to swing into such a big body when I still have defensive bodies like Borsellino, and especially if you're not confident that you can clear the body, because I think it was like an 11 to a 9 swing, something like that. I don't think it's really worth it. I think it's more impactful to be going into board trying to demand some counter or demand some of those blockers that are still on the board. But yeah, Hody Jones, I was actually really scared that if I only had 2 blockers on the field, then he would be able to rest both of them with another Hody Jones. So I was trying to find a way if I could establish 3 blockers, but I don't think that was really feasible, so I just started targeting that Hody Jones. And he does let the Hody Jones go down, which I thought was a little bit strange considering he did have a blocker. I think it would have been more impactful to have a little bit bigger of a body on the field compared to the Momonosuke, especially if he's going to swing with it here. And a little bit of a sequencing error, not that it really matters since I had blockers, but he did give the banish to his leader Yamato, try and double attack banish, but he does swing the Momonosuke first, which I did let go, but since I would be at only 1 life left, then it's not going to get a whole lot of value compared to banish double attack. And with a thick board and seeing no blockers on his side of the field, I'm going to swing in, and that's GG.
As for your roll. Leader. You got a leader?
I did get a leader.
Is it Blackbeard?
Oh my gosh.
Is he switching to Blackbeard?
Am I switching to Blackbeard?
I will walk you up the stairs, tell you about life.
Is this another Shanks? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Only if it was manga.
Right?
That's still super cool. And hey, that is trade fodder for what you open in the series.
Unless he does. A second leader Shanks.
And there'll be people for it.
So we ended the day at 2-2, pushing our overall record to 34-22. Objectively, pretty middle of the road record for today, but I don't think I really played my best today. And on top of that, I did get really unlucky with a few of our hands, and we did get high rolled in one of our games, like super high rolled. So not exactly a throwaway episode either. We did learn a few things about a few matchups, and especially about some of our misplays, but we could definitely do a whole lot better. So looking forward to the next episode where we can hopefully make a whole lot more progress. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content, drop a like and sub to the channel. The more subscribers we get, the closer we inch to the big sub bounty. And speaking of bounties, don't forget to leave a comment suggesting your new bounty. New waves of bounties drop every 5 episodes. And while you're down there, let me know your thoughts on today's episode. Until next time, drink your water, pass out love, hugs, kisses, mwah.